My sister-in-law, Emma, was relentless. She had been trying to set me up with her friend, Jack, for weeks. I had met Jack once at a family barbecue, and while he seemed nice enough, there just wasn't any spark for me. But Emma was convinced we were perfect for each other. "You should date Jack," she yelled, exasperated, as we sat in her cozy living room sipping coffee. "He's funny, smart, and he's got a good job. What more do you want?" I sighed, stirring my coffee. "Emma, it's not that simple. I just don't feel that way about him." Emma's eyes softened a bit, but her determination didn't waver. "You haven't even given him a chance. One date, please. For me?" Her pleading eyes and the hopeful tone in her voice made it hard to keep saying no. Emma had been like a sister to me since I married her brother, and I didn't want to disappoint her. Besides, what was one date? "Fine," I said reluctantly. "One date, but don't get your hopes up." Emma squealed with delight and immediately grabbed her phone to text Jack. Within minutes, she had set up a dinner date for us at a quaint little Italian restaurant downtown. The night of the date arrived, and I found myself standing in front of my mirror, debating whether or not to change my outfit for the fifth time. I finally settled on a simple navy dress and headed out the door. When I arrived at the restaurant, Jack was already there, waiting with a warm smile. He stood up and pulled out my chair for me, a gesture that didn't go unnoticed. "Hey, it's great to see you," he said, looking genuinely pleased. "Hi, Jack," I replied, smiling back. "Thanks for agreeing to this." The evening started off a bit awkwardly, as first dates often do. We stumbled through the usual small talk about work, hobbies, and family, but as the night went on, something surprising happened. I found myself laughing at his jokes and genuinely enjoying his company. Jack was charming in a way I hadn't noticed before. He had a quick wit and a way of making me feel at ease. By the time dessert arrived, I was having a great time. We shared stories and laughed so much that my sides hurt. As we walked out of the restaurant, Jack turned to me and said, "I had a really good time tonight. I'd love to see you again if you're interested." To my surprise, I found myself nodding. I'd like that too. Over the next few weeks, Jack and I went on several more dates. Each time, I felt more and more comfortable around him. I started to see the qualities Emma had been so insistent about: his kindness, his sense of humor, and his genuine interest in getting to know me. One evening, as we walked through the park hand in hand, I realized something that caught me off guard. I liked Jack. Really liked him. And it wasn't because Emma had pushed me into it. It was because Jack had shown me who he truly was, and I had grown to appreciate that. When I told Emma about my change of heart, she couldn't have been more thrilled. "I told you," she exclaimed, hugging me tightly. "I knew you two were perfect for each other." And as it turned out, she was right. Jack and I continued to see each other, and our relationship grew stronger with each passing day. It wasn't long before I couldn't imagine my life without him. One evening, a few months into our relationship, Jack invited me over for dinner at his place. He had been raving about his cooking skills, and I was eager to try his famous lasagna. When I arrived, the delicious aroma of garlic and tomato sauce filled the air. Jack greeted me with a kiss on the cheek and led me to the beautifully set dining table. As we sat down to eat, I couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment. We talked and laughed throughout the meal, and I realized just how much Jack had become a part of my life. After dinner, we moved to the living room, where Jack had a surprise for me. "I've got something for you," he said, handing me a small wrapped box. "It's just a little something to show how much I appreciate you." I opened the box to find a delicate silver bracelet with a small heart charm. It was beautiful, and tears welled up in my eyes. "Jack, this is so thoughtful. Thank you." He took my hand and looked into my eyes. "I'm the one who should be thanking you. You've made me so happy." As we sat there, wrapped in each other's arms, I thought about how far we had come since that first awkward date. What had started as a reluctant favor to Emma had turned into something truly special. Jack had shown me the importance of giving people a chance and being open to new possibilities. Our relationship continued to flourish, and it wasn't long before we were talking about our future together. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Jack turned to me with a serious expression. "I know it's only been a few months, but I feel like I've known you forever," he said. "I can't imagine my life without you. Will you move in with me?" His words took my breath away. I hadn't expected this so soon, but deep down I knew it was the right decision. "Yes, Jack, I'd love to." Moving in together was a big step, but it felt right. We quickly settled into a comfortable routine, and our bond grew even stronger. We supported each other through the ups and downs, and I knew I had found someone truly special. As the months turned into years, our love only deepened. Jack and I built a life together filled with laughter, adventure, and endless love. Emma's persistence had led me to the love of my life, and for that, I would always be grateful. One day, a few years after we had moved in together, Jack surprised me with a weekend getaway to a cozy cabin in the mountains. It was the perfect escape from our busy lives, and I was excited for some quality time together. On the second evening, as we sat by the fire, Jack reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. My heart skipped a beat as he got down on one knee. "From the moment I met you, I knew you were special," he began. "You've brought so much joy and love into my life, and I can't imagine spending it with anyone else. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down my face as I looked at the man who had become my everything. "Yes, Jack. 1,000 times yes." Our wedding was a beautiful celebration of our love, surrounded by family and friends who had supported us along the way. As I stood at the altar, looking into Jack's eyes, I knew I had found my forever. Life with Jack was everything I had ever dreamed of and more. We traveled, explored new hobbies, and built a home filled with love and laughter. Emma's insistence had led me to the greatest adventure of my life, and I couldn't have been happier. Years later, as I sat with Emma over coffee, I thanked her for her persistence. "You were right, Emma. Jack is perfect for me. I don't know how to thank you." She smiled, squeezing my hand. "Seeing you happy is all the thanks I need. I knew you two were meant to be." And she was right. Sometimes it takes a little push from someone who cares to find the love of your life. Emma's determination had brought Jack and me together, and for that, I would be forever grateful. A push towards love. In this heartwarming tale, we follow the journey of a woman who, despite her initial reluctance, is persuaded by her well-meaning sister-in-law Emma to go on a date with Jack, a seemingly ordinary guy she once met at a family barbecue. What begins as an awkward obligation turns into an unexpected adventure of laughter, kindness, and genuine connection. Through a series of charming dates and shared moments, the protagonist discovers the beauty of giving people a chance and opens her heart to the possibility of love. With Emma's persistent encouragement, she and Jack build a relationship that blossoms into a deep, enduring love. Their story, filled with endearing gestures, thoughtful surprises, and a proposal by a cozy mountain cabin, reminds us that sometimes it takes a little push from those who care to find the love of a lifetime.